Hey guys, it's Charles Yeager with PremiumBeat. In this quick tip, we're gonna take a look at using white text over bright footage. We're gonna take a look at 3 different scenes, and I'm gonna show you guys an easy way you can adjust the footage to make the white text more visible. These tips will help when you're just wanting that clean look with white text, but the text might be getting lost in the background. So let's go ahead and start by looking at our first example clip here. So what I've got is some white text on screen. You can see the background footage I'm working with here has a lot of white on it and it's really bright. And let's go ahead and scroll through and you can kind of see how potentially some of this text, especially right over in this area here, can kind of get lost in the bright areas of the footage. And this is something that's actually really easy to fix and kind of address in order to make sure this text doesn't get lost in the background. And what I'm gonna do is select my footage and let's come here to Effect. Let's come down to Color Correction and we're gonna select Curves. And what we wanna do here is we're just gonna select this top point on the curves here. That's gonna be the white point. And we're just gonna drag this down just a little bit. You can see just even that little amount there. And the footage really doesn't look that much different, but you can see how much more the white text now stands out from our footage. And if I go ahead and turn the effect on and off, you can see we're just dialing down that white point just a little bit because this text, if I go ahead and select that, and we come over to the color, this text is completely white, it's as bright as it can be. So just by lowering that white point on our footage here with the curves effect, you can see how much more that's gonna separate the background from our text. And that's really as simple as this trick is. However, if you find that this darkens your footage a little bit too much, it usually shouldn't, but just in case it does, or if it almost desaturates it a little bit, another trick you can do is on your footage, just go ahead and apply the effect Lumetri Color. So let's go to Color Correction, and we're gonna select Lumetri Color. Then I'm gonna come down here under Curves, and you're gonna see we have this hue and saturation curve here. What I'm gonna do in this case, see I've got this red jacket, kind of the blue shirt and the yellow shoes. I'm just gonna come in here and add some points. Let's go ahead and bring the saturation up on those so those pop out a little bit more. And let's do the same thing for the blue over here. I'll just bring those up and you can see we get a little more of a splash of color here coming from that. And you can see if I go ahead and turn this on and off, the difference that makes to give the footage a little more life, and we're still getting that separation with our text here. Now let's look at another scene I've got here, and this has also got some white text on it, and this footage is not necessarily bright. Let me go ahead and scroll through and you can kind of see what's happening. So we have our white text on screen, and we have this white spot here on the computer where there's kind of a light, and you can see how it's kind of losing the text on that really bright point of the footage. So in this case, this is really just more of a bright spot versus the entire background is bright. So what you could actually do in this case is just add an adjustment layer. And what I've done is I've just masked around that bright area of the computer. It's kind of a light that's inside of the desktop there. And I went ahead and keyframed a mask over that, and you can kind of see how it just gradually moves through the scene. If I hit U on the keyboard here with it selected, you can see the little points where I've just kind of keyframed the mask path. And what we're gonna do on that, if I select it, I also have a curves effect applied here. Go ahead and turn that on. And you can see what I've done here is I've brought the white point of it down quite a bit more. So you can see how we're kind of just dialing down the brightness of that little light on the computer. So if I go ahead and toggle this on and off, you can see the difference there. You can see how much more we can see the text now, so it doesn't get lost over that bright spot. And that's a nice way you can kind of eliminate or dial down any bright areas of the footage that might just be in a bad placement where the text is. So that's an easy tip you can do in a situation like that where you just have one specific like bright spot, like if you had your text up here, maybe it was right in front of this lamp or this lamp over here, you could do the same thing. But again, we're just using the curves effect and I'm adjusting, again, that white point just by bringing that down. And we're kind of effectively dimming that light there and just using that mask. And I think I have a feather applied to that as well. If I go ahead and hit F here, you can see I have a little 20 pixel feather applied to that as well. Now let's look at our final scene here, and this is just another shot where I've got some white text over some footage. It might be some vacation footage or for an ad or something like that. And you can see in this case, so it says mountain climbing, and we have the sun right here. And we could do that same trick where we kind of dial this down with the curves effect. But I want to show you guys another option you always have for white text like this. And I'm going to go ahead and select the text. Let's come here to Effect. And let's come down here to Perspective. And we're going to select Drop Shadow. Now we don't want this really harsh drop shadow like this. Now you could do this, but it kind of defeats the purpose. Obviously we can see the text now with it being kind of that harsh. But what we're gonna do here is under distance, let's go ahead and bring this up to 0. And then for the softness, we'll go ahead and increase this quite a bit. And you can kind of see if we increase this a lot, it almost kind of makes that drop shadow almost fade away. But you can see if I toggle this on and off, the difference that really provides us here. So it's very subtle on that shadow. And you can also dial down the opacity here if it is a little too intense. But you can kind of control that to where that text, now you can see the white text, but we don't really notice that drop shadow. It's very subtle. You can see if I toggle that on and off. So that's another trick you can do, kind of a quick tip if you have white text over bright footage. So definitely try all three of these different methods out whenever you're using white text over bright footage. And if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, be sure and check out the other tutorials we have on the PremiumBeat channel. And once again, I am Charles Yeager, and I will catch you guys on the next one.